Hey, what's up everyone, Sam Jones here. So I thought I would do a walkthrough of my track Can't You See? I get asked about this track a lot, and personally it's my favourite Tech Trance track that I've done to date. Um, my sound has evolved quite a bit over the years. I've done a few Tech Trance tracks like Let Loose, Buckle Up, Patterns. There's probably more, I just can't think right now. But this is my favourite release, definitely. So yeah, just thought I'd do a video on running through how everything was made. So let's just get on with it. So we're going to start from the intro and we'll just work all the way to the right. So yeah, as you can see, this sounds straight away. So the first sound is just the kick, just tech trancey kick, and then I've got a reverb with it as well. So it's like an impact basically. And this kick says DPA, as in Dave Parkinson, trance kick for the reverb, but it wasn't actually, the reverb from it itself wasn't from a sample pack. It was basically, this track used to have a different kick and I changed it halfway through, but I made the reverb on this from that Dave kick basically, which is this. But yeah, that combined with the kick makes a nice impact. And then we've just got this kick filtered then, obviously, so it doesn't clash with the impact. And over time, it starts to get a bit lower and fatter. Okay, so first of all, we got this. Bear with me. There's straight away, there's this here, which I think I used Alchemy for, which is a synth within Logic. So yeah, nothing overly complicated, just a chord. And the synth looks like this in Alchemy, which is just a preset actually. It's a bass preset called Arctic Noise Lead. I think I've just got a little bit of Saturn on it, just to bring it out a little bit. EQ's not doing much. And then I've got filters, like as far as high cuts, which cut off the high end so that it, over time and stuff, gets more open. So you can hear here that it's just like quite low. Then it's more open, obviously, later on. So I think that's for feedback. All right, there you go. So that's the filter, yeah. So it's quite low at the start, and then later on it's more open. And it's just got a huge delay on it that goes on for quite a while. So when I'm playing this back, actually, and doing this video, I'm going to have to constantly stop, because otherwise the delay is just going to keep on going. Okay, so let's move on from here. Okay, so there's a few other elements in there now. So I have been a bit cheeky and I robbed a loop from David Marley on Hard Ribbon, which is one of my favorite techno tunes. So that's what you can hear filtering in at the start. I just chopped it and changed the BPM, obviously, to match ours. And then there's a bass here somewhere, so there you go. Cool. So it's just a fat saw bass type thing. Doesn't look like I got a lot on it, to be honest with you. Just a filter to bring it in smoothly, I think. Or was that on the, no, that was on the send I did this. Okay, so the filter was on the send. So most of the stuff's on the send actually, so just cutting some frequencies here. There must have been a ringing in there or something. Yeah, not a lot actually going on the first bass note. Okay, so I'm missing stuff already. So there's a few effects here. Okay, so I don't even know what this is. Terminator C down. I don't even know if that's like something I've bounced or... I don't even know what that is to explain it to you. But it's some sort of a reverb tail that I've made with whatever that is anyway. So it's just a nice little effect. And I've got another tail here, I'm sure. So yeah, that's just a... It sounds too thick to have been made from a pad, so I think it's a chord I've made with a synth buzzing metallic. I'm not sure if that's within Serum or if I used Alchemy to do that, but again, it's just probably D sharp and F sharp together. And I've filtered it so that it does it over time. So if I play it without the filters on, which is not this one, nope, maybe this one then. Yeah, so it's that one. You can just tell it fits a lot better. And I've just got some EQs and stuff, so I'll just turn everything off. Then put everything back on. You can just tell it sounds a lot brighter and cleaner, so... And then there's this bass from that sound, I think. Yeah, I think that's like a reversed version of this. And the only thing else I had on that effect was a slowdown effect on the end. So it just does like a vinyl stop. And then I think I've got some sort of vocal chops here. Yeah, just nothing crazy, just a simple vocal chops. And as you can see, there's like 297 channels, so this video might actually take longer than I was hoping. Just a crash there with a delay on it. That's it. That's my main crash throughout the whole track. And that's Activa's crash symbol 03. Been using that since I started producing pretty much. It's never failed me yet. Alright, cool. So let's go into more percussion. I think I used Dave Parkinson's pack a lot for this track, actually. So there's the clap here. As you can see, it doesn't do much, just filters over time. And then the loops all together are this as well. I'm not sure where I got that from, actually, but I really like it. It's a nice loop. I think I'll use that again. And then this is Dave again. And now I'm not sure if that's exactly how the loop is, or if I've chopped it, or, you know, it could be anything. I could have. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. So long ago. It's hard to remember. But that's the three of them together anyway. And then you play the clap with these. And the kick, obviously. So, yeah, there's no hats yet. Hats are coming in soon, I think. Okay, so here's a low vocal hit. Not got a lot going on. I can't exactly remember where I got it from. I think it's a low version of this. So this little dub-a-dap. I think I pitched down that last hit of that and then made that and then put loads of reverb on it. and then I've EQ'd it and stuff. So if I take the EQ and sidechain off, and obviously I put a slowdown at the end of it as well, so it just slows down over time. And then yes, this is going to take me a long time to get through this project, I think, because we're only 23 seconds in and I've still got a lot to explain. So then I've got this, which is from the original vocal of, why can't you see? And basically it's this tail. So I basically took the wah and bounced it out with loads of reverb on it and then reversed it. And then I did a stretched version of the original vocal, so I slowed down. Basically grabbed it and did that. So we'll put it back, obviously, because I don't want to ruin it. And there's a couple of other things here as well. There's like a little stab that's not a vocal, so I think it's this. So yeah, there's these. And considering there's so many channels to this project, this is actually, believe it or not, a very organized project for me. I'm working on projects at the moment that are just like, look like a car crash compared to this. So yeah, that is... Okay, cool. So there's this tail here, which obviously was made from this hit. And I think it was from a Psy pack or something, and it might have been on Splice. I'm not 100%, but I think it was actually. But it was just it was basically just a little loop that went da-da-dum, or a stab. So yeah, I made the tail out of it, and then it was this. And I bounced this one out to be different from the other two, so it's got more reverb on it. So it's basically one sound that I've made 3 sounds out of, in a sense. Okay, and then I've got my typical trademark reverb tail here. So yeah, it's just I've basically grabbed a synth from either ES2 or Serum or something like that, made a chord, made it nice and thick with a few notes, and then bounced it out, and obviously EQ'd the hell out of it and put a delay on it, so this is it originally. And then put the EQ on. You can just see that it's a lot neater. But I've got a few notches on there, but I've not killed it, and I've not sucked the life out of it. I've just tucked it away enough so that all the ringing goes. And then, yeah, I've just got a nice quarter darted delay on there. Nice slow rhythm. So it's not too erratic, but it does blend into the background nicely. And I think I just cut the bottom a little bit as well. Nothing crazy, but just a bit, And then we have that sound from earlier on. So there's a reverb tail onto the low note. So you can hear more the low there than anything. And then you got the full. And again, it's the huge delay on it. So I'm just going to bypass this a sec. Actually, I'll just play it as is. Okay, samples everywhere. I mean, I'm literally 30 seconds in, so so there's this, which I didn't do a lot to. It's just a vocal stab, sex vocal, and with a bit of satin on it, just to give it a bit more color. Bit of an EQ to get rid of any ringing and stuff. And there's a reverb on it, but no sidechain. I guess because it wasn't that much of a long reverb, it didn't feel like it needed it. Like it didn't need the sidechain. And then there's this, which I honestly couldn't tell you what it is because I always thought listening to that was a vocal, but it can't be a vocal because it says Hard Trance Super Soul Sam on it, and it's been bounced from a synth for sure. Don't know. It's clearly something that I think you can see here that it's come from hardstyle. I think I've got a preset called hardstyle lead that I've made, hardstyle elephant lead or something like that, and yeah, I don't understand why it's. But yeah, anyway, the point is I always thought it was a vocal, but it's clearly not. When from when I've been listening to it, playing it out at gigs, I just for some reason thought it was a vocal. So yeah, that is just a hardstyle kick reversed. JK hardstyle kick. Not sure where that's from, but it's not mine. But sounds sick. And there's 2 layers to the claps now. Actually, I can just see that. So there was just 1 clap originally. There's 2 claps. Sorry, I forgot to explain that earlier. And I've got this hat as well. Just quite a thin hat, actually. Because the thing is, see, with my hi-hats, I don't like them so they sound like this. I don't like them when they sound like they're tucked straight out of a drum kit. And it sounds like a drummer's sitting there smashing a hi-hat like an old band sound, which is not a bad thing. It suits that style, but I just like them to sound a bit cleaner, so I always cut off like loads of it. So it's just like a tss. I just don't like my hi-hats to sound really clangy because it's just, they kind of give off a tone then. And if you try and EQ out the tone and just leave the rest, you may as well have just done that anyway. So yeah, it's just tidier, I feel. And then there's 2 sounds here which sound really nice. Basically, for the main drop, I made a part that was like a fill to go onto one of the synths, which is this. And the bottom one, I think they're both made from the same sound, but basically there's this lead I've got called Hardstyle Elephant Lead. It goes doo-na-na. It's on the main drop, I'll show you later. I think I've just took 2 notes out of it. And that was it. And then what else we got? There is something else creeping up, which is, that's a white noise. Just trying to figure out where everything is. Okay, so yeah, this is leading on to Shiny Disco Balls. So yeah, that's the acapella Shiny Disco Balls, and I've not got anything on it apart from an EQ that's basically doing nothing, so it may as well not be on there. And a delay and a very choppy LFO tool. So it comes on and off, so it's off, then on, then off, then on. And then obviously the delay carries it through. And then underneath that, I've got all this. Then I've got this acid, which was made in Silence. It's not mine, Art Blade LFO. I don't think there's much filtering going on it. Maybe the cutoff here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, just the old Blade style. So I guess that's why it's called Blade. But you know, that old school style of acid, and then just an EQ on it to cut the low off, single band to do some filtering, I guess. Delay, tiny bit of reverb, literally hardly anything. And then LFO tool so that it bounces. Okay, and then we got a couple more bits in the intro, which is this. It's literally just a saw wave. I can tell you where it was made though. Yeah, it was made in Serum. Just a saw wave with a notch filter on it and a bit of white noise. And then I've put an EQ to cut it off, a bit of distortion to bring it out a little bit, and a bit of bit crusher, so there's a bit of crunchiness to it. And then a low cut so that it filters over time and gets thinner towards the drop, basically. Okay, and then what else we got? Okay, and then there's this as well, which I've bounced this as a loop on the website, which is available now. And it's in the synth sequences, actually, to go and get if you wanted it. Just realized I'm talking about the wrong one. That's not in the synth sequences. I think this is. So yeah, sorry, there's these. That's available in the synth sequences, I'm sure. Okay, what else we got? I've got a ride here. Doing not much apart from heavily sidechained. And I think that's it, right? Oh, and I've got my snare rolls. So there's this quite fat snare, which I've put into the sampler, and 151 snare. I'm pretty sure that's a Vengeance snare, to be honest. Yeah, quite an old snare I used to use a lot. And then there's a snare for the builds. The only problem is with this project now, I'm showing you it, is you're going to have to ignore the fact that the snares just come in, and they don't come in gradually because I don't have 3G anymore, which is this gain plugin, which was brilliant, very smooth. I have to use Logic's gain now, which is still fine, but I prefer 3G, to be honest. But yeah, it used to be a free plugin, and I think it is still free. It's just that, you know, it doesn't do it anymore since I've updated my Mac and that kind of thing. Okay, so and then I just did a kick roll. And obviously, as you can hear, a flanger comes in, and I was like, "What?" But I just remembered it's on the master, so you can hear it coming up there. Okay, so now we're out of the intro. That took quite a while, actually. Is now to explain all this. So here's the main vocal, I'm guessing. Yeah, okay, so here's the main vocal, diva vocal main. So yeah, that's from, I'm sure I got it from Splice. Why can't you see? Yeah. But as you can see, I did a lot to it. So first of all, I adjusted the pitch of it. So, I mean, I'm sure I can probably find it here. It's because I've put an apostrophe. Okay, so yeah, this is the original.
Why can't you see?
So it sounded, you know, okay, but it just didn't quite fit with the track, all the notes, so. So I'm gonna try and see if I can find it. So yeah, the first vocal was not pitched. The first stab is not pitched. Second one is pitched up 2 semitones. And the third one is pitched up 3. So, you know, it's just to get it to fit with the track. And as far as what I've got on it, there's quite a lot because I didn't want the vocal to sound nasty at all. So yeah, there's quite a lot on here, actually. Way more than I thought there was. So let me just turn the delay off, all these EQs. And this is the original. So you can hear like it's a bit woof. You know, it's really over the top. So yeah, the first EQ is this. Still sounds quite nasty. I ran out of notches, so I did another one. Still sounds nasty, so he was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I added more notches. Still sounds a bit nasty. More notches. Still sounds nasty. More notches. Then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? There's still some frequencies in there, but they're the ones that you want. And then I've got a reverb on it, on a bus, which is just a silver with the high end seems quite drastic. I've obviously boosted it, but it cuts through nice in the mix. And then a sidechain. And yeah, that's it for the vocal. And then there's a bit of a fill here, so this was... That sounds nice. And this. So yeah, there's a few there. There's one stab, then a reverse of it. I think this was something else, actually. Yeah, that sounds quite cool. And then there was this saw bass thing. And I think that comes from the fact that when I was first doing this track, I'm sure I tried having a fill before the first drop that was just going like doo-doo or something like that, and then I just changed my mind. So, but the point is, it still had some elements that I wanted to keep in there. So yeah, now I can get onto the bass. Okay, so we've got a few things with the bass. I'll play it with the kick as well. So there's the kick here, and there's a sub here. I'm sure that's the main sub. So we've got this sub that's called Buckle Up sub in E, which is basically just a sub that I have caned since God knows when. And I made it in, I don't have the thing here, but I made it in silent. And I'm sure it's like, and I'm sure it's like 2, maybe 3 oscillators, with a lot of voices, but no detune. And I think I cut off loads of the high end down to around like 120 or something. I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to remember it in my head. And then I think I put Renaissance bass on it as well, boosting it at like 70 hertz. Not drastically, but just enough so that it sounds warm. And I think that's pretty much it. There wasn't a lot to it. I'm pretty sure that's what I did with the sound itself. So there wasn't anything complex within silence that I did with it. It was more what I did afterwards that made the sound warm. So yeah, if you listen with the kick, it sounds nice with the kick, you know? But obviously even better with the mids. Okay, so yeah, I cheated a little bit on this because I used a bass out of a track I had already finished, which was my Acid Air Raid remix. So I took the bass that I made for that just to save on time. So there's that, and I know exactly what that is, but I'll explain it in a minute. So yeah, 2 layers to sit on top of this. You can tell it's just, if I take these 2 off, it just sounds nicer because it doesn't just sound like a sidetrack. That's alright, but it sounds better like this. Just gives a tone to it, you know? And then I got this as well. which was just to add a bit more warmth to it, I think. Okay, and then we got this da-da-down, which I've already shown you effects that I've made from it, but this is the original sound. That's the original sound. Again, not anything on it, just an EQ. And then I cut into this bass here. And I'm sure I've sampled that, as you can see. Primal Sin Bass Normal. I'm not sure what track that's from, but it's not my saw bass anyway. I mean, nothing I couldn't make or anything, but I just think I just nabbed it. And yeah, let's move on. Okay, I like this. This is one of my favorite effects from the track. So, this was, I guess, a reverb tail that I made, and then I basically made it wobble and stuff, so... That's the original sound. And I panned it to the left, and I put a small EQ on it doing nothing, and then Fat Effects has this dirty tube wobble preset. So yeah, it sounds quite nice, right? And then, yeah, that was it for that. I think I did an EQ, but just to cut out some of the nastiness. And then I think this is the original sample, what the reverb tail's from. This sounds quite old school, quite ravey almost. Again, not much on it, just that reverb bus and a small EQ. And then there's a vocal stab here, which is God knows where from. And then there's also, is it this? Yeah, so there's that as well, which I couldn't tell you what it's from, but I know that it's got that wobble on it. You know, it sounds nice without that wobble on it if you listen with it without. It just doesn't have the same tightness to it. And yeah, on top of that, there's the which is from Why Can't You? Okay, so everything that just played there I've already showed you within the intro. And then there is also this, which is just kaboom distorted kick. There you go. So that's something I made in Serum. It's all bounced as audio to save on CPU, but it's just an impact type pitchy sound that I've made within Serum and then bounced it to audio. Okay, so there's quite a lot on this. So the vocal stabs here are from the original vocal. So that's it. There's nothing on it apart from the fact that I've just took stabs. And then we'll listen to the rest of the effects. So I've got these as well. So yeah, I know for a fact that I made that in Serum, but I just don't know where the preset is. Well, I don't think I even saved it as a preset. I think it's probably just left randomly somewhere, but yeah, it's nice, right? Sounds pretty cool. And then it's not much on it apart from whatever the hell I did in Serum, and then there's Saturn on it as well. And then there is this version of the Can't You See vocal, which I'll find now. Oh, no, it's the same one. It's that stretched one. It's that same one that's in the intro, basically. Okay, so yeah, now there's this fill as well, which is it's quite a bit going on here. So there's this thing called Diplodocus bass, which sounds like noisier Diplodocus bass, which I made in Serum. Sounds quite close to the original noisier Diplodocus bass, but obviously it's not as good, but it's kind of close, which is why I called it that. And then I've layered it with these. And that's clearly something from Dave Parkinson's pack, but I don't know exactly what, because I've obviously changed it up. I think I've pitched it down, and that's a bass. Okay, so yeah, there's a vocal hit, then the bass, and then Diplodocus bass. So yeah, it's quite a complex fill, actually. So altogether, there's like 5 to 6 layers. And then it ends with the did. So yeah, it's quite a bit actually in there. It's quite a tight fill, actually. That sounds quite nice. So yeah, it's just this all together. So yeah, that all leads then into the next section. There's not much to explain here, apart from, you know, everything's just all out, but I've already showed you the percussion and that kind of thing. I've got that tiny hat on there as well. So there was this, and I don't even remember doing this. Maybe this is slightly different to the final version, but... So yeah, kick roll, and the bass just goes doo-doo-doom. Which is like a saw bass. What's crazy is, there's a lot going on in this track, but I know for a fact that I wasn't smoking any weed when I made this track. And I know that because of how... Again, it's still quite a messy project, and most people probably watching this going, God, it's so messy. But for me, this is very organized. But yeah, I remember being very clear-headed whilst making this track, and yeah, being very determined to get it finished. And obviously, I didn't smoke any weed at the time. I think it pretty much wasn't doing anything at the time. Yeah, still managed to get through this anyway. Within a few months, I think it took me. But yeah, just from how neat it looks compared to my other work that I've made, like for example, Table Dentist, I did that when I was really smoking a lot of weed, and it was a very messy project, very fun and very creative, but it was all over the place, and it seemed to take me longer because of how messy it was. And then, yeah, the acid and the vocal things start to come back in. And now is kind of in a sense of replaying stuff from earlier on, but in different ways. So I don't have to stop and talk as much is what I'm getting at. So, yeah, I have a riser here. Which I'm almost certain that I made in Serum. Either Serum or Silence, and just put a fade on it after I'd bounced it out, and then put a fade out at the end. And then obviously here, as I'll just explain while I'm here, these are just white noises. Just for the build-ups and main transitions and stuff, etc. And then we've got this. Okay, so there's a few things here. So I think there's a pitch down sub here. which is kind of hard to hear, but you really feel that in a club, actually, really quite a lot. So yeah, that cuts through nicely in a club. And then, just to make things a little more interesting, I think I did... How the hell did I do that, actually? Yeah. Trying to figure out where the fuzzing is coming from. Basically, I've done a version of that. And it's definitely fuzzing over time. I just, for the life of me, cannot find where it's coming from. Anyway, what's underneath is it's just a saw bass thing. With a little bit of chroma verb on it. Doing literally hardly anything. Just coming up over time. And that's really going to bother me unless I can find out how I did that. It's really going to annoy me, actually. Must be this. Yeah, so basically it's the reverb from that stab, and then I've put a bit crusher on it doing this. So it's just so that it deteriorates quickly, and the reverb just doesn't drag on. So yeah, that's the Kenzie, and then the sex vocal or something it's called. So yeah, there's this pitchy sub bass thing. And a kick here. And then this as well. So this is basically a filtered kick from the main kick and bass. And you can hear the percussion filtering in over time again. Then there's this da-da-da from the vocal. Then you got these key changes as well, because usually with this style of build-up, I would do a key change where it's just a drone and no beats. But with this one, I thought, you know, bugger it, let's stick some bass under there as far as like a pumping bass and the kick. So I just cannot find it. That's what I mean. It's hard to believe that this is supposed to be an organized version of my projects because it's still a nightmare and I cannot find it. Okay, that's it. So yeah, on its own, sounds a bit cheesy, you know. Yeah, it just sounds a bit cheesy on its own, but it fits with the rest of the track. And I've got this creeping up as well, which is the lead. Okay, and then obviously got more and more and more and more samples. Yeah, so there's that reverb tail, and let's get to this. So, this I get asked about a lot. This fill. You can hear there's a few layers. So, first of all, that how is clearly from a T78 remix that I was playing. So, yeah. But again, it's only a little vocal hit in it, and it's from God knows how many other tracks as well. So, yeah, and then so there's this saw wave pattern that I made in Serum that went like I think I did like a something like that. Sorry about that. That was embarrassing. And then I only used half of it. And I did more of a reverb for the second half of it. So it was like that and this, I think. Yeah, and then it was the vocal. Okay, so yeah, all together. Oh, and there's one more thing. There was this for the start of the fill. Okay, cool. And I think I did reverse kicks as well. I haven't told you that yet. To roll onto the drops. So like so that it really jumps into the kick drum. You know, so you're not just, it just helps with the impact, I feel. Sounds nice without it, but it does help. I don't know, it just seems to help jump it into the drop a bit. So yeah, okay, so next, I need to stop saving this as well. I'm doing it automatically, like, because I always automatically save, but this is an old project, so I'm adjusting things, and I don't need to be saving them, but, you know, whatever. Okay, so the first part of our reverse bass, well, I mean, it's essentially a reverse bass, but obviously I'm pretty sure that anyone that knows anything about actual reverse bass will probably correct me and say that's not reverse bass. But yeah, this is my version of it. So there's just a saw wave here. Very thin, like sounds quite terrible on its own, to be honest. Mixed with the sub. Already sounds better because of the sub. And then I've got it mixed with another layer. It's all about that second layer, really, but if I play the second layer on its own, it sounds terrible. But with the two combined, they complement each other well. So I think the only thing I did was basically kept the sub in singular, as far as, you know, nothing to the left and right, and the same with that saw wave. But this layer is quite thin, but I put a sample delay on it to put it to the right. If I turn it off, it sounds like this. It just, it kind of loses its harmonics a bit, and it just sounds a bit nastier. Okay, and then just these this bass, basically. Just went up 3 keys, I think. And there was that saw wave as well. And there's a filtered something going on there, and I don't know what it is. You know, it's starting to get confusing a bit now. There you go, that's just used as an effect. And there's something here called effects can't. Pardon my language. I don't even know what that's from. I'm pretty sure I made that actually in something else. And yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it was a side tune, and I made some effects basically and pitched them down. So I think it originally was, nah, it doesn't. It won't allow me to pitch it back. But I think it was originally higher. And then here's that sex vocal in its full. So yeah, orgasmic. And then let's see what else we got. Right. Right, so yeah, moving on now to other elements of the track, the more trancey side of things. So we've got some leads here, and here's our leads. And it says Ask You Acid here, and I think that's just because it's from a preset that sounded like an Ask You Acid, that kind of thing. But yeah, this isn't even an acid, I don't like. It's just because I've copied the MIDI down from a previous channel, basically, and it's, you know, it's kept the MIDI name the same. So yeah, there's this, which is in Silence at Big Trance. This isn't one of my presets. This is just a preset from somewhere. That's what I mean. It's a long time ago I did this project, so this was more. I used to use a lot more samples that weren't mine, and I'd use a lot of presets and that kind of thing. Now, obviously, I use my own. I do use other people's samples as well, of course. Still do. I don't shy away from that. If it sounds good, it is good. But yeah, I just make a lot more of my own these days. So yeah, nothing too crazy on that sound. Just a couple of saw waves, 8 voices on each. Nothing on 3 and 4. And yeah, just an EQ. Cutting it. I guess it sounded quite nasty without it. Bit of satin as well. And delay. So that's the first layer, and the MIDI is this. So usually I do this. Usually I make them thicker. But for some reason I did it on this. It sounds fine anyway. I was just surprised to see that. So Arctic Up style lead top. So yeah, this was in ES2. 2 oscillators, 1 noise. And then there was this bassy sound here. Not a lot going on with it apart from it's literally just a saw wave with a bit of satin on it and some delay and reverb. And then underneath that, I've got another lead. Ah, okay, now I understand. Right, so basically what happened with this is that basically I didn't do any of the low notes on the top 2 leads. Oh no, it was just the top one. Right, okay, so I've just literally got 1 lead doing the top pattern then. Cool, actually, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I didn't do anything on the lows on the top one, low notes. I just kept it for these. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Just double checking. So yeah, all combined, that's all those leads. And underneath I have this as well. Just a looped reverb tail. And yeah, just this as well. Yeah, that's just the pattern I made for the fill, like, basically. You know, nothing crazy, just nice little key change to add some energy. And then I did some stabs out of that ravey type stab. Well, to be honest, it's more hard housey than ravey. And I don't know why that's playing, because I'm pretty sure the final version of the track does this. Nah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it doesn't quite sound the same as the released version. Okay, so what's irritating is obviously that snare comes in on the release version. It doesn't do that; it just does this. And then the snares come in over time, obviously. But I don't have that 3G plugin anymore, so it's not doing the gain for me. So yeah, this is just mainly a replay of all the effects from earlier on, just arranged differently. And obviously I've cut out the percussion so that it's just kick and bass, so it basically drops again. Okay, so on the way into the breakdown, I've got this. So it kind of bridges it all together. And then obviously I left a space for the vocal to have its moment. So yeah, it comes, the pad brings it all together really, rather than the pad just starting there, you know? And then I've got a low atmospheric type pad that sits underneath it. And then there's this as well. Which is very nice, actually. I quite like that. And I don't know if I made that or if it was from something else. I don't know, but the point is I chopped the living hell out of it. And yeah, it sounds pretty nice. But I've learned a lot about mixdown since this track, and now I'm thinking, you know, should that have been louder? Probably yes. That's a Parky atmosphere, which I did nothing to apart from pitch up one. Because it didn't need to, it sounded nice, so. Right, so then I'm on to the leads. So yeah, there are a few layers. Those are the main layers, but I can hear another layer somewhere. I'm not sure if it's just the pads. So if I get rid of this. Yeah, that's where all the high end's coming from. So yeah, I will go back to the main leads, which are here somewhere. Okay, yeah, so here's the main leads. So yeah, not the most complicated melody, but a nice tone. Not really thick either, to be honest with you. The sound is thick on that lead, but I mean the chords themselves is just two. It's not like, you know, D sharp and then another D sharp, then F sharp, and it's just literally two. It's just the key it's in, and then where the chord starts. So yeah, there's that layer which is silent. And then I've got this, which is ES2. Which I'm sure I used this in Good Love. I think that's why it says Good Love on it. Then this. That's a very thin and brittle lead, to be honest with you. Not my favorite sounding one, but it's clearly doing a job. And then obviously there was the other lead, which is this. So I think this was the S2 as well, was it? Yeah. That's clearly one I've made because it says default, so that basically means, you know, as soon as you turn the plugin on. But yeah, two saw waves, one noise oscillator, and yeah, just not much going on really. Bit of chorus afterwards, and Fab Fiddle Satin, and delay and reverb. But yeah, I did the space obviously for the vocal. Yeah, so like obviously I don't think this is the final version because the leads are like super loud. Okay, so on top of that melody, I've got this here. So yeah, there's the pluck basically, and again, this isn't mine, it's just a preset. So yeah, it's just that with a lot of delay on it, and that's about it. And there's a pad sat on top here as well. Which is basically following the chords from the pads, but it's like a choir basically. Then I've got some breakbeat here as well. And the breakbeat is, again, it's not mine, it's just, there you go, it's from Parky's breakbeats. Okay, and then this, I'm pretty sure I made this from basically the Good Love pluck that I said I used earlier. Basically that I used for the melody and stuff. I've took that and just done a really reverbed, wet version of it for this. So they sound like strings, you know, like real strings, but they just add that nice texture. And then I had a nice ARP loop that I found, which was this. So yeah, not a lot, you know, it's just a nice ARP to fill out the background. And then here's where things start to pick up then, you know? So I've got this here and these leads. Just trying to find the basses and stuff. So yeah, it's those leads from earlier, the ES2 synth, just a one stab. And the same goes for the bottom, which is just the silence lead that I was on about. And I have a reverb going onto it as well, which is this. And then, yeah, cuts through to this. And obviously all that is just a recreation of all these. Basically, it's a reorganized version of this synth here. These two synths in here, so. And here I just did different kick rolls. So I think it was these with reverse kicks. Then you got these, but originally they had a 3G on it, so the volume came up slowly, but it doesn't now because obviously I don't have 3G, so. Clap. Not doing much, just an EQ and then filtering it, I think. Then elements start to come back in, like I've got this and this acid. So it all picks up together. And then I've got different variations of the Can't You See vocals of this. So it's all starting to come back in again. So there's them as well, the drones basically. So yeah, here is the exciting part with the drums again. So it's more kick rolls again. And there's like a fill there going, which I can't find. So yeah, there's a lot to explain in this track, more than I thought. So there's this. And there's something that goes, I just can't find it. It's just like a vocal stab that goes, you know, I can hear it, obviously. I just can't. This must be like a low version of the Can't You See vocal. Yeah, it's a low version of Can't You. Now, the vocal chops sound a bit weird there, and I think it's just because the project's old now, but this is all fine, but where it chops sounds slightly different to what the released version is. And yeah, to do that was just Why Can't You? And then on the C, I stretched it out, so it just does this. And then I did a chopped version then as well here, so. And there was this pitch down. So that basically when my thought process was when the vocal comes in and goes E, it sounded like, you know, when you have the CDJs on master tempo mode and you flick it all the way down if you're, you know, into DJing and stuff. Like, get a vocal and smash it all the way down on the master tempo, and the pitch of it will go like, and it'll sound like slowed right down and almost robotic. Well, anyway, Hallowell used to do it all the time when he'd be doing some mad scratch loop stuff, and yeah, it just reminded me of, I wanted to do something that sounded like the tempo had just been smashed down for a second, which it does, so yeah. And then I think there's some fill off splice. Well, it's not a fill, it's a bass that I've used as a fill, which was this. And then, yeah, then we're into the drop. Okay, so first of all, we just got a fat saw bass. This. Oh, sorry, that's the sub. This must be the saws. Okay, cool. So yeah, there's just a saw wave there, and I think I did it in, here we go. Yeah, just a saw bass with a notch filter on it, that's pretty much it. Okay, and then just a slightly different version of the bass there, so it comes in here like this. I think I just did slightly different filtering on it. Okay, and then here's where it gets fun with the vocals and stuff. So the vocal is Rihanna, and let me just find out where it kicks in. So yeah, it's from We Found Love. I love the original anyway, to be honest. But yeah, I just did that and put some distortion on it. And if I pull it back, you can hear where it's from, basically. Turn the distortion off and stuff. There's a mute on it, so just bear with me. So yeah, that's originally where it's from. So yeah, there's that, and put everything obviously back on. Actually, just let me adjust that and then put everything back on. And I think it was... And yeah, I just wanted it to sound kind of hard dancey, so I put some distortion on it and fat effects to just make it sound a bit dirtier. Okay, yeah, and then there's those two effects that I had earlier that in the intro, basically. And I just realized I forgot to explain one of very important sound. This is like one of my favorite sounds within the whole track, which I made, which was called Hardstyle Elephant Lead Patch. So yeah, this is the one I made. And it's just a saw wave with like a million voices on it. I don't think it's sending any FM from any other oscillators. Phaser, distortion, EQ, reverb, and compressor. And then I've got nothing on it on the outside because I didn't really need anything. But it's doing a fair bit with the pitching and stuff, so I'm pretty sure that it's just got a slow tail on it, and then there's a pitch here. So that on the last note, it goes ooh. So it goes like D sharp, B, A sharp. So yeah, just a bit more interesting. Oh, and the pattern going E is obviously just C chopped. Okay, and then I have a small parky effect here, which is just quite white noisy, really. And then my own stuff, which was all of this. So I did make these, yeah. As you can see, there's quite a lot of layers, so I'm just trying to make sure I've got them all. Yeah, so I did Dave's sweep onto my stabs. Okay, and then what else was next? And then that's just it's just a different variation of the hardstyle elephant lead thing I made. And then that then again is Rihanna, but you can hear it sounds slightly different. And I think, I can't even really remember, I think it was basically just that Rihanna vocal and I like reversed it or something. And then chopped it as well, so. Ooh, I really need to put the clicks on, you know, the schoolboy error there that I haven't put the clicks on. You know, to get rid of the, but I can't do it right now. But yeah, that's what that was. Trying to keep track of everything here is getting quite difficult now. It's tiring me out, to be honest. I started this video with loads of energy, and I'm quite like, I feel quite tired now, so. Okay, so I took that and I think I did a type of build with it, but I just don't know where anything is. So I think it was here. Yeah, that was it. That was cool. Okay, so I used tape delay to do that. I mean, I haven't looked to see what I did yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what I would have used. Yeah. Okay, so I did tape delay with that, and I just automated the delay time. So I put the tape delay on, and I turned the tempo sync off, and automated the delay time itself. But I turned the smoothing all the way down, because if you have the smoothing up, it does this. You know, it does the psytrance style pitch up dub delay, but I wanted the speed of it to go up, but I didn't want it to pitch, so I just did that. So, you know, it did that. So it does the speed up effect, but it doesn't pitch it. And then I think I've got a flanger as well, so. Yeah, I got a flanger on the master then as well, so. And to be honest with you, this section of the track does sound a lot different to, let me just check how long I've been going. An hour and 26, Jesus Christ. And yeah, this section of the track does seem a lot, maybe quite a bit different to how it was released, but I don't know why, because I can't exactly remember exactly what the release sounds like, but it's just something slight here is not the same as the release. I know that, but I just can't tell you what. So yeah, altogether is this. So like a pitch down with the riser, snares, and a clap hit at the end here. What else we got? And this tail. Quite a bit actually, and see a fill bounce. Don't know why that's even bounced to that. That shouldn't be bounced like that, but yeah. I think it's a reversed version of the fill. Right, yeah, I just realized that this is the most recent version of the project that I've got, but that doesn't sound the same. So basically, these leads should be more faster, like more similar to these leads here. But they don't on this version for some reason, but you can see what's supposed to happen. Yeah, so they're supposed to play a bit differently than that, but yeah. And the only other new element that I've got here is this stab as well, which is these. Which is just... I don't even know what that's from. It's just a saw wave though, and something... Yeah, it's from this, I think. Silky saw. And also this one underneath it, which is just a reverb tail. Then you got Rihanna comes back in with her vocal, and then you got over the top. And then all the effects from earlier on just start to come back in left and right and whatever. Yeah. then yeah, this the only other sample I've got to explain really is is that this is me. So which is quite cringe now, to be honest, but it seemed to fit in it. And then I think I did another one elsewhere as well. So again, it's a bit weird the fact that I'm sat in my room doing that, but it works with the tracks, so that's what it's all about, right? And then I usually drop my outros usually sound fucking sorry the delay. My outros usually sound with all the percussion and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't do that this time. And then yeah, the percussion. I did it kind of differently because I treated the outro like it was almost like a first drop. So I didn't treat it like usually I'll do. The outro comes in with all the percussion, like everything, and then I'll filter it all out as time goes on. But this one, I did it clean, and then brought the percussion back in, then brought it back out again. So as you've got the main loops coming in, you've got the hats and claps going away. And then yeah, I ended on that, but so yeah, I am pretty certain that I've got through everything there. So let me just check my OBS. Yeah, I've been going for an hour and a half. So the last walkthrough I did was table tennis, and foolishly I thought that this was going to be quicker because I didn't have to explain all the stories of the samples and that kind of thing in a sense of taking them from movies and whatnot. But I forgot that there's almost 300 channels, so it was obviously going to take me quite a while. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm pretty certain that I've been through every aspect of that track with you. Yeah, more tech trance stuff like this coming very soon. Can't wait to test it all out at the gigs that are coming back around. Feel blessed to be saying that I've got some gigs coming up soon. But yeah, hopefully see you all very soon, and hope you enjoyed the video.